Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going to crack open the essential toolkit every data scientist needs to have. This is all based on the top interview questions out there, so we're really getting to the heart of what it takes to turn a mountain of data into real-world impact.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big one, the question that really sets the stage for everything else. What does a data scientist actually do all day?
So what does that really mean? Well, in a nutshell, they turn all that raw data into actual strategic action. Think of them as translators. They speak the language of ones and zeros, but they can explain it all to the boardroom. And to do that job, you need a really well-organized toolkit.
Here's our game plan for digging into that toolkit. First, we're going to lay the foundation with some core principles. Then we'll check out the blueprint for actually building models. After that, we'll open up the playbook and look at the essential algorithms. Next up, we'll run some diagnostics to make sure our models work. And finally, we'll step into the real world to see how it all comes together. All right, first up, the foundation. You know, every great toolkit has to start with the fundamentals. And for a data scientist, that means mastering the principles of statistics. These are the precision instruments you just can't work without. So how do you prove that what you found is a real discovery and not just a random fluke? That's where hypothesis testing comes in. You use methods like t-tests to compare averages or chi-square tests for categories, and they let you say with confidence, yep, this change we made had a real impact. And this right here, this is a classic trap that every single data scientist has to watch out for. It's the whole correlation is not causation thing. Just because two things move together, like, say, ice cream sales and shark attacks both spike in the summer, it doesn't mean that one is causing the other. A great data scientist knows exactly how to tell the difference.
Okay, with our foundation solid, let's start looking at the blueprints. See, building a model isn't just about throwing code at a problem. It's about having a smart strategy before you even start.
So here's the first big fork in the road. Does your data already have the answers in it? If it does, like a bunch of emails already marked as spam or not spam, you're doing supervised learning. You're teaching the model. But if you've just got a pile of data and you need the algorithm to find patterns on its own, well, that's unsupervised learning.
And this is like the central tug of war in all of modeling. It's called the bias-variance trade-off. On one side, if your model's too simple, it has high bias, and it just misses the point. But if it's too complex, it has high variance, and it basically memorizes the noise instead of the signal. The goal is always to find that perfect sweet spot right in the middle.
Yeah, it overfitting is a huge pitfall. It's when your model gets an A+ on the practice test, but then completely bombs the final exam. To stop this from happening, data scientists use clever tricks like cross-validation and regularization to make sure the model can handle brand new data it's never seen before.
All right, now for the fun stuff. We're opening the drawer with the real power tools, the core machine learning algorithms that are in every data scientist playbook. These are the engines that do all the heavy lifting. Okay, imagine you've got a data set with like 1,000 different columns. It's just too much, right? PCA is the tool that helps you boil all of that down to just the most important parts. It cuts through the noise so you can focus on the variables that actually matter. Now this is a total workhorse. It's called Random Forest, and it's powerful because it relies on the wisdom of the crowd. Instead of building just one decision tree, it builds a whole forest of them, and then it takes a vote. That makes the final prediction way more accurate and stable. This technique is super clever. It's all about learning from its mistakes. It builds a simple model, sees where it messes up, and then builds another model specifically to fix those errors. It keeps doing this, getting a little better each time. And this process is what makes algorithms like XGBoost so incredibly accurate. Okay, so you've built a model, awesome. But how do you know if it's actually any good? That's where the diagnostic tools come in. You've got to be able to measure its performance and measure it well. This right here, this is basically the report card for your classification model. It's called a confusion matrix, and it tells you everything. It shows you what the model got right, what it got wrong, and how it got it wrong. It's absolutely critical for really understanding what your model is doing. And from that report card, we get these two super important grades, precision and recall. Precision is about correctness. Of all the times you said spam, how often were you right? Recall is about completeness. Of all the actual spam emails, how many did you catch? The one you care more about totally depends on the problem. So what happens when you can't sacrifice either one? What if you need both correctness and completeness?
Well, that's where the F1 score saves the day. It basically squishes precision and recall together into one single number, which gives you a nice, balanced way to see how well your model is performing overall.
All right, let's bring it all home. We've seen the tools. Now let's see how they get used every single day to turn messy, raw data into a valuable asset that can actually drive business decisions. It all starts with a process called ETL. That stands for extract, transform, and load. You got to get the data from wherever it lives, clean it up and reshape it, and then load it into a system where you can actually analyze it. It's the essential first step for everything else we've talked about.
And if you were to look over a data scientist's shoulder, this is the stuff you'd see on their screen. They're living in languages like Python and SQL, and using these incredibly powerful libraries like Pandas and scikit-learn to make all those concepts we just discussed actually come to life.
So you can see how it all comes together. When someone asks a data scientist, "So why should we hire you?" Well, this is the kind of answer that really nails it. It shows it's not just about knowing the tools, it's about combining them with business savvy to create some real, tangible value.
And that leaves us with one final big question for the future. As AI gets better and better at the technical stuff, which parts of this toolkit are going to be the ones a human can never be replaced in? Things like curiosity, business intuition, and just asking the right questions, those might just become the most valuable tools of all.